Well, I didn't expect to be back live again with you guys on this Sunday evening, but it looks like it's going to be an interesting 24 to 48 hours for the future of Ruben Amorim as Manchester United's manager, because it doesn't look good. It's looking very, very bleak, and to be honest with you, if you've seen his press conference after the Leeds game today, Ruben Amorim walked out of his press conference after the Leeds result at Ellen Road, which finished Leeds 1, Manchester United 1. And it looks like there's been a major total collapse and a relationship breakdown between Ruben Amorim and our sporting director, Jason Wilcox. And if I'm going to be honest with you, this is going to only end one way and one way only. And I think, to be honest with you, I think everybody's basically planning for it. Ruben Amorim to resign as Manchester United's coach / manager. Will Manchester United be on their 8th coach and 8th manager in 13 fucking years? Obviously, we had the great Sir Alex Ferguson depart us in 2013. And since then, the downfall of Manchester United has never been studied. But I think we know where the downfall begun. Soon as Sir Alex Ferguson fucked off and left the club, the Glazers took back control. The Glazers basically said, we are going to control this football club again. We're not scared of anymore. And no matter what manager we bring in, what coach we bring in, what players we let go, what players we bring in, we won't be able to be dictated to anymore. And we will be able to control everything that's going on in and out of this football club. And it looks like this is going to be a crucial 24 hours to 48 hours, because it looks like Ruben Amorim's on his way out. The relationship is completely broken between Jason Wilcox and Ruben Amorim. Obviously, Ruben Amorim is frustrated that he's basically not getting backed in January. He expected Manchester United to get the Semenyo deal done. We were fully going in on Antoine Semenyo from AFC Bournemouth. Manchester United obviously didn't get that deal done. Semenyo looks like he's now off to Manchester City. Obviously, we were in talks with Bournemouth. We had 65 million to spend, and Ruben Amorim expected United to get that deal done. And unfortunately, since that deal for Semenyo has collapsed, since Christmas, Ruben Amorim has pointed out that Manchester United are in a crisis. We've got too many problems that can't be fixed. And obviously, when you've got a sporting director in Jason Wilcox and you've got Omar Barada now interfering in Ruben Amorim's managerial plans, telling him to switch his formation, change his tactics, and to change the way Manchester United are being set up by this manager or coach, whatever you want to call Ruben Amorim. If you want to call him a coach, you can call him a coach. If you want to call him our manager, you can call him our manager. Ruben Amorim feels like he is now being dictated to, and he feels like he's now a puppet on the strings of the Glazers and Ineos. And where have we heard that before? David Moyes, Louis van Gaal, Jose Mourinho, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. We then had Ralf Rangnick. We then had Erik ten Hag, Ruben Amorim. We are very, very close to being on manager number 8. We are very, very close to being on manager number 8. I'm not surprised we're in this situation. The downfall of Manchester United has never been studied. But like I said, the big problem at this football club are the Glazers. The biggest problem at this football club currently right now are Ineos. Soon as Ineos decided to get into the bed with the Glazers and have a bit of hanky-panky, have a bit of fun time in the bedroom, and have a bit of a heated moment inside the room. The biggest problem is when Ineos got into bed with the Glazers, offered a minority stake in this football club to keep the Glazers still here, was the biggest problem that was only going to get a lot worse. I wanted a full sale. I wanted the Glazers gone. I wanted brand new owners who were going to inject billions into this football club, pay off the debt, build an elite football stadium, get rid of so many players that have got so many managers sacked before. And unfortunately, if Ruben Amorim does resign, then the season will cave in, because we'll have to bring in an interim to get us till May to finish off the season. We are potentially facing Burnley with the same set of players that played Leeds today. It doesn't look like there's going to be any incomings. And apparently if we want to buy players, we've basically got to let Xerxes go to do anything, or let a midfielder go to bring a midfielder in. And I sympathise with Ruben Amorim. I do sympathise with him. I don't think it's all his fault. His tactics are questionable. His formation he uses is massively being scrutinised. Obviously, I'm not a big fan of his setup. I'm not a big fan of his formation, and I don't like his tactics, and I don't really understand the type of football that Ruben Amorim is trying to get this football club to play on the pitch. But if he was to resign, do I blame Ruben Amorim? I don't think I do blame him. I think the mess this football club is in is nothing more than a complete and utter disgrace. I think if there is a relationship breakdown between him and the sporting director, and to be fair, I don't know what Omar Barada's done since he was brought in. I don't know what Jason Wilcox has done since he was brought in. I have to question Ineos's strategy. I have to question the structure since Ineos have been here. I haven't seen any improvement. I've seen my club, the football club that I love, go so far backwards that I think the inevitable is going to happen. This manager is going to become the scapegoat. He will be the one to blame. He will be the one to blame for the mess and the downfall that Man United are going through this season. And I don't think that's necessarily fair, because I don't think this is all Ruben Amorim's fault. If he was promised signings in this January transfer window and he's not going to get given them, then what is the point of him still being in charge? If you've been promised, but then the club and the board have gone behind your back and said you're now not getting players, I don't think necessarily that's fair. I think it's unacceptable. You've basically lied to the manager behind his back, saying, oh, we'll make sure we'll get you Semenyo, but if you don't get Semenyo, then don't expect anything to happen. And I don't think that's fair. That squad currently is on its fucking knees. We've got no defence, we've got no midfield, and we've got no fucking attack. And people will say, well, he's got Bruno out injured, Mainu out injured, Mount out injured, De Ligt still injured, Maguire still injured. He's got no Mazraoui or Mbeumo or Ahmad because they're all at AFCON. We can't be using the African Cup of Nations as an excuse. Manchester United knew the situation in the summer that they would lose all those players to the African Cup of Nations. That's no excuse. Manchester United should have made sure they had more reinforcements brought in last summer's transfer window in 2025. Those recruitments and those players were not brought in. Not enough was spent last summer to improve the current crop of shit that we had the season before, where we failed to qualify for Europe, which is majorly embarrassing, massively frustrating, because when you see other clubs in Europe and Manchester United's name is not there, it's massively embarrassing having to sit there and watch all your rivals play in European football week in, week out. To be honest, I think United's become better since he took over, says Magnus. Who should be the next Man United manager if Amorim goes? I'd want to keep Amorim and remove the owners. It's not Ruben's fault, it's not the players, it's the owners, always is. I think there's a big debate what's going to happen in the next 24 hours to 48 hours. If Ruben Amorim does go, if he does resign, then what do Manchester United do? Because we're basically just repeating the cycle. We sack the manager, bring a new manager in with a new set of coaches, play a completely different style of play than what Ruben Amorim was doing, and then give it 1 or 2 seasons, it then goes all downhill. The biggest problem at this club is the Glazers. The biggest problem at this club is Ineos. If you're not going to back the manager, then why are you still running this football club? If you're not going to give him money and you're not going to give him signings, then surely to God, why are you still running the club? Why not sell the football club and fuck off back to where you came from? You clearly can't afford to run this club. The club's nearly in £800 million in debt. The stadium is rotting in every single corner. We can't even afford to buy the land that we want to build this elite football stadium on. And we've got a set of players that really don't give a fuck. And we've got a manager who looks tactically outclassed and doesn't even know what to do. It's not just the Glazers. It's the Glazers, not just... Exactly. It's not just the Glazers. It's Ineos as well. Amorim won't make it to the end of the season with the comments he's making. He won't resign. He's too stubborn. Bro's moaning about a Premier League team who wins a trophy nearly every year, so out of touch. He knows he's going in 18 months. Southgate incoming. Mark my words. It's the Glazers, not just Ineos. If he's not as committed, they will sack him. Exactly. If Ruben Amorim is not committed and he doesn't want to be here, he needs to resign. He clearly is frustrated, like you, like me. There's many sections of this fan base that are so pissed off, so annoyed about the standards of the club. And the problem is some of the fan base and some of these supporters are falling for the standards and they're accepting them. This win, lose or draw mentality has got to stop. Manchester United should be beating teams like Wolves and Leeds at Old Trafford and away from home as well. I think the biggest problem is Ineos and the Glazers as well. I think the biggest problem is Ineos and the Glazers. And if Amorim does go, I will applaud him out of Old Trafford. And then I hope he then does an interview where he comes out and then absolutely goes in on Ineos and he goes in on the Glazers as well. Because clearly not enough money's been spent. People will say, well, you've spent nearly 200 million in the last transfer window. 200 million wasn't enough. That squad, realistically, in my opinion, needs at least $500 million being spent on it over the next 2 transfer windows. And that starts with this January. We can't just sit this whole of January and do nothing. The midfield, we haven't got one. There's no attack. And as well as a defence, we're basically relying on Aiden Heaven, Martinez and Shaw week in, week out. Maguire and De Ligt are still injured, which massively puzzles me. How is De Ligt still injured? How is Maguire still injured? They've been injured since the fucking Spurs game in November. And they've nearly been out for nearly 3 months. So the injuries to Maguire and De Ligt have got to be questioned. We've had no update on Fernandes. We've had no update on Mainu. We've had no update on Mount. There's a lack of clarification going on inside this football club. How do you know he's not committed? He wants to be the manager, not the coach, to let him manage. He's had promises broken from when he became manager, and that's the problem. I'm sick of the players actually as well. I still can't believe we had a chance of new owners, but they got Sir Jim. Player FC is boring now. Where does that money come from? The problem I have is if you walk away, who comes in? I don't have all the answers. If Ruben Amorim goes, who do you bring in? I don't know. I don't know what this football club would do if they got rid of Amorim. The biggest fear I've got is they bring in Southgate. Southgate has been linked with this job more than 2 or 3 times in the past. And if they brought in Southgate, it would go all right and then it would all go wrong. I don't want Gareth Southgate anywhere near this job because that would end in tears. I don't want no ex-players either. I don't want Carrick. I don't want Ollie. I don't want Rude. Because the problem is, if you bring back Ollie, it's all going to go wrong again. If you bring back Carrick, it's going to go wrong again. If you bring in Rude, he went for the Leicester job and got sacked. So at the end of the day, the problem I've got is if he does resign, which I will applaud him if he does, I will applaud Ruben Amorim if he walks out the door, and if he does call the Glazers and Ineos out, then that's what we need to hear, because they are the biggest problem. I wouldn't be surprised if he walked away tomorrow morning. Exactly the feeling I've got. It wouldn't surprise me if Ruben Amorim's gone in the morning. I've had that feeling since the Leeds game finished, and since these comments he's made, you can tell there's a major relationship breakdown. If it's Jason Wilcox and Omar Barada causing the problems, then Sir Jim Ratcliffe has got to get on the phone to them and fucking dismiss both of them. Because if you've got both of them now interfering with tactical approach and telling the manager what he can and cannot do, Ruben Amorim is basically a puppet on strings. What's Ruben Amorim meant to do? You're basically being told, we don't want you playing that way, you're not allowed to use that formation, and you will be dictated to like a dictator. The Glazers and the Ineos remind me of fucking Hitler. I'm not being rude. They remind me of Hitler. Like, I'm not being rude. You can't be controlling a manager what he can and cannot do, because that's dictatorship. What's he meant to do with a squad that is on its knees? I'm not using AFCON and the injuries as an excuse. We should have beat Leeds today, and we should have beat Wolves last week. There's no fucking excuse. There really isn't an excuse. Can you tell me what the difference between a manager and a coach? Well, a coach can be dictated to. A manager has more control on players' decisions, signings, and what players he wants and doesn't want. So I'm guessing that's the difference between both a coach and a manager. Ruben won't walk because that'll be a major humiliation to the owners. You wouldn't have got here without the Glazers. Show some respect. We only got here because of Fergie. Nick says correct. Exactly. And the problem is, if Ruben Amorim is being dictated to, then I would walk. I would resign. In my opinion. If I'm being told I've got to play that style of football, I'm not getting any signings, and if I want players brought in, we've got to sell. This is what I don't get. We've gone back to FFP. We've gone back to sell to buy again. And this is what I'm really, really struggling to understand. If any manager is being told what to do, they should walk. Exactly. Nick is absolutely right. If they are being told what to do, I would be resigning in a heartbeat. Because you're telling me at the moment, we've got no midfield. We've only got Agate and Casemiro. We're playing those two for 94 to 96 minutes for the last 2 games in a row. It will be the same against Burnley. It will be the same against Brighton. And it probably will be the same against Man City and Arsenal, where we're probably going to get stuffed massively. We'll get stuffed by City and we'll get stuffed by Arsenal. See, you're wrong. He was given time with a third, didn't work. We asked him to change, he refused. But you can't be telling a manager what to do. You can't be telling your coach, your manager, what to do. You can't be telling him what to do. You can't be having Ruben Amorim as a puppet on strings. That's not fair. If he was promised signings, then where are they? Where are those signings that we were promised? Because if they had 65 million to spend on Semenyo, but they're now not willing to go and spend any more on anything else, then where's all that 65 million gone? That really isn't fair. You can't be telling a manager, oh, we'll get you players, but now we're not because Semenyo's not happening. Man United should have got that Semenyo deal done. But apparently, we don't want to break the wage structure. But you kind of already conflicted yourself there because you gave a pay rise to Mbeumo, you gave a pay rise to Lemens, you gave a pay rise to Matthias Cunha, and you gave a pay rise. Mbeumo, Cunha and Sesko and Lemens, you all gave a pay rise for. So you're telling me we're not willing to break the wage structure, we're not going to bring you Semenyo. I mean, what is that all about? So you're giving those 3 a pay rise in wages, but we're not doing it with Semenyo. That is really what I don't understand, because we were looking at Semenyo last summer, but we went for Mbeumo and Cunha instead. If they wanted Semenyo, they should have got him as well as trying to sort out that trash midfield, because we're stuck with Agate. We can talk how much we want, but we can't change anything. That's the worst. Exactly. We can't do anything as fans, but we can. We need to stop buying the kit, stop buying the fucking merchandise for a start, bleed the club dry of any income from what us fans put into it, and we get every single home game abandoned and called off. Because we did it when they put us in that Super League. When they put us in that Super League, we got the Liverpool game called off. It's not difficult to get games called off. It's not difficult to get games abandoned. It really ain't that difficult. But the problem is, the sections of this fan base are in massive denial. You've got one side wanting something else, and then you've got the other side wanting something different. We need to come together as a fan base to force these owners out, to make a statement saying we're not being messed with anymore. Because if Ruben Amorim does resign, there's no going back. There's no trying to bring him back if it all goes wrong. That's the problem. The Glazers haven't delivered any success for nearly 13 fucking years. We haven't won the league for 13 years. The Champions League we've not won for 18. We haven't won the Europa League since 2017. We haven't won the FA Cup for nearly 3 seasons. We haven't won the Carabao Cup for nearly 4. What says the Glazers are going to give us any success? It's not on the fault of the managers. It's the manager that fails because the club don't back the manager and don't listen to him who to get rid of and who to bring in. That's the biggest problem. The owners don't give a fuck. They are taking every penny out of this football club and bleeding it dry. £800 million worth of debt. A stadium that's falling apart. The owners and the substandard players are to blame. And again, look at the players Ruben Amorim would want. Look at the players Amorim wanted. He clearly wanted Semenyo, and he isn't getting him. And by tonight, by the comments he's made, God help Amorim in the morning, because Ineos ain't going to like it, nor will Sir Jim, nor will Omar Barada, and I don't think Jason Wilcox are going to like it either. And they're all right turning up for the game and fucking sitting in their nice fucking shitty posh seats at fucking Ellen Road. But what have they actually done? What have they actually done as board members since they walked through the door? What have they actually done? What have they done as board members to actually say, oh, do you know what? We're doing a good job. We're actually backing the manager. You're not backing the manager. Where was the midfield rebuild last summer? Where was the midfield rebuild? When we made our interest in Belieber, where's that interest gone? Because apparently, that's what Amorim is saying, sack me or support me. He's had enough. Exactly. I'm completely in agreement with Bob here. Bob Turner has said, that's what Amorim is saying, sack me or support me. He's had enough, and I don't blame him. I don't blame him for having enough. I would have enough at this situation. I mean, I'm even on fucking WKD tonight, an alcoholic drink, because I've got so fed up of the way this football club is being run by a fucking mockery. It's embarrassing, it's sad, and it's quite frankly pathetic. It really, really is pathetic. The football club is in a crisis. We've got 8 first-team players currently out of that team. Can't Ineos see it? Can't the Glazers see it? Can't Sir Jim see that we need players? It's like they're completely blinded by the light. I've had enough of Amorim. Deserves a better man. Could have took Sporting place. Instead he chose United. Exactly. I don't even know how we're joint 5th in the league. Like, the rest of the league is fucking shit, except for Arsenal and probably Man City and Villa. The rest of the Premier League is fucking dog shit. And they're calling it the best league in the world. Absolutely no chance it's the best league in the world. The fucking jokes of some of these teams in this league are a fucking flip-flop. You've got teams like Brentford in there and Bournemouth and Brighton, and they can't compete. They can't compete with the top 6. They don't have the budget. They don't have that type of money. And they certainly don't have the players some of these other clubs do. But they're playing better football. They're playing better football than us if you think about it logically. Look how well Brentford are doing. Look at how well Villa are doing. Look at Fulham. They're having a good season as well. I honestly don't know how we turn this around, how this season can get back on track. And obviously they're going to look at these comments Amorim has made. If he's only got 18 months left and he goes, we're on another manager. Would say thank God for West Ham and Wolves, but looks like what happened when they rocked up to Old Trafford exactly. He's arguably the worst manager in the Prem. You right? You guys are right. You guys are right. But look at the results. We couldn't beat Everton at home. We couldn't beat Bournemouth at home. We couldn't beat West Ham at home. Like, we've played so many games that we should have won. We couldn't beat Wolves at home. There's so many teams that come to Old Trafford and fucking slap us about. It's massively, massively embarrassing. Like, to see the club in the state that it is in, it's massively, massively insulting. Like, if Ruben Amorim resigns, fair enough. But what do the club do? Because Ineos and the Glazers and Sir Jim, Omar Barada and Jason Wilcox are going to be in an utter mess. They ain't going to be able to get out of this alive. They won't be able to get out of Old Trafford. They won't be able to leave Manchester United without the fans being on their backs every fucking minute. That's the problem they're going to have. That's the problem. And if he does go, who do you bring? I don't know. Again, I don't know who we bring in as manager. I've got no clue what we do. But they can't go the whole of January without 8 first-team players in that squad. I think Man United, Wilcox needs to resign. Completely agree. Smash that like button. Please give me a follow on TikTok. Would really appreciate it. I would sack Jason Wilcox after tonight. I would sack Omar Barada after tonight. And I would actually back our manager and give him some signings. We need to back this manager. He needs more time. But the problem is the patience isn't there. Like, people saying the fans need to be patient. The supporters need to calm down. It's going to take time. But we've heard that for nearly 13 fucking years. We've heard that for 13 years. We need time. We need patience. Calm down. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. The problem is this fan base expects perfection. This fan base has expectations on where this football club should be at. And the expectations are now that some of the fans have fallen so low as this football club. A lot of the fans have fallen with the club with them because a lot of us have just given up. We need time, but we need to stick with a manager, not have one for 2 years and then sack. Exactly. You guys make good points. But I think after the comments he's made, don't be surprised if we get a big breaking news story that he's gone in the morning and then an interim's in charge for bloody Burnley, because this can't carry on like this. I sympathise with Amorim. This is down to January. This comments he's made is probably down to what's happening currently in this transfer window. There's no backup plan to Semenyo, and that's what he's pissed off with. He looks at that midfield, there's no quality. He looks at that attack, non-existent. I mean, look how many learner drivers you've got in that team. Patrick Dorgu is a topic of discussion. He didn't even want Patrick Dorgu. We wanted Nuno Mendes, and Manchester United said we're not spending 60, 70 million on players anymore. That's not what we're going to do. We're going to get players on the cheap. And the problem is with that, that's never going to work. Glazers out says stank. Exactly. I want them out as well. So why buy him for 70 million when you could have got a midfielder? And that's a Jim shitbag along with them. Exactly. Completely agree. Completely agree. They said they wouldn't spend 60 to 70 million, but they spent 68 million on Matthias Cunha. They spent 70 million on Mbeumo. They spent nearly 70 to 80 million on Benjamin Sesko. Sesko's a learner driver. Dorgu cost 30 million from a Serie A relegation threatened team, which couldn't turn down that type of money that Manchester United offer them, and Dorgu was never going to turn down the move. But Dorgu's a learner driver. Amorim didn't want Patrick Dorgu, he wanted Nuno Mendes. Where is he? Where's Nuno Mendes now? He's still at fucking PSG. He is still at PSG. Manchester United should have gone and got Nuno Mendes when they had the chance. He also wanted Watkins. Completely agree. He also wanted Ollie Watkins. Ollie Watkins is banging goals in for Villa week in, week out. Again, another problem this football club has got. We have got learner drivers in this team that ain't fucking good enough. Sesko had 3 chances to put the ball in the net and didn't deliver any goal. Like, that says a lot about Sesko as a player. We need leaders. We need experienced players. You've got Dorgu, inexperienced. Learner driver. Sesko, inexperienced. Learner driver. Like, there's so many players in that team that should not be in that team. We can't keep using injuries and we can't keep using AFCON as an excuse. Man United knew the situation as soon as AFCON was going to start. They knew the situation. The injuries are a big blow. But how has De Ligt not recovered? How has Maguire not recovered from his injury? They've both been out since the middle of fucking November and they still ain't back. And people, we can't be accepting a draw. We can't be accepting points as a result and applauding it. We need to be beating teams like Leeds away from home. We should be beating teams like Wolves at Old Trafford. Those teams were there for the taking and Man United didn't beat them. If you're celebrating a point, you are not a Man United fan. If you're celebrating a draw, you are not a Man United fan. All this win, lose or draw mentality bullshit has got to stop. A club like Manchester United expects to beat those teams because those teams are fucking dog shit. No disrespect to Wolves, even though they smacked West Ham, you're still going down. You look at Leeds, you're probably going to survive because Wolves, Burnley and West Ham are that dog shit. No disrespect. Look at the Sunderland owner. Look at the job he's doing. Look at our bench. Our bench is full of fucking primary school kids. Like, I'm not being funny. The only reason the Fletcher brothers are on the bench is because his dad was such a legend of this football club, even though he was never a legend. That's the only reason the Fletcher brothers are on the bench or get into the team. That comes from poor management. Exactly. I mean, look at the options we had on our bench. The only 3 experienced players we had on our bench were Binder, who's a backup goalkeeper, who doesn't even play, who's shit anyway. Malacia shouldn't even be here. Another player that should have been shown the door. And Xerxes, again, comes on for his brightest spark of all season, produces an unlikely assist to get Kuna our equaliser. Because if we don't find that goal, we lose this game 1-0. That isn't good enough. The bench said a lot about the standards and the way this football club is going. Some of those kids on that bench are not going to make it. Some of those kids on that bench are not ready. And chucking them in at the deep end is stupid. But people will say, well, he's got to make a bench. He can't he can't not name a full bench. The problem is none of those players are good enough. None of them are good enough. Why not chuck JJ Gabriel in? Why not chuck Obi into the first team? Why not give one of those two, both of them, a chance in the first team and give them an opportunity? Because look how well JJ Gabriel is doing for the under-18s. Look how well Obi's doing since he was in the youth squad. And they don't get given an opportunity. They don't even get given a chance. I know they say you shouldn't think of the past, but the thought of us losing points all the time. Exactly. Xerxes has scored an assist in his last 3 games. Nothing to do with Xerxes. Completely disagree. Problem is you still think you're a decent team and expect to win a game apart from the top, in any game apart from the top 4. Obi deserves a call-up. JJ Gabriel can't play. But he's outscored Sesko of half the game time since game time. Nice one. MUFC are not good. Manchester is blue. Was 14 when the season started. That's no excuse. That's no excuse. You can't expect Amorim to go with the same squad against Burnley. You can't expect him to go with the same squad against Brighton in the FA Cup. If we lose to Burnley and got the FA Cup, we ain't getting European football next season. And all of a sudden, that seems okay with a lot of this fan base. And I mean, that's embarrassing. If half of you so-called United fans don't want to be in Europe for a second season, then you are a major, major embarrassment to this football club. You shouldn't even call yourself a Manchester United fan. So it's all right for us not to be in Europe again for the second season straight running. Is that okay? Is that the standards we're going to fall to? We're just going to fall to it now. We're going to fall to those standards. Like, I'm sorry. I want this club to be winning. I want to see us lift silverware and win the trophy. That ain't going to happen if Ruben Amorim isn't going to get backed. And if he does resign, good on him. If he does quit, then I don't blame him. I really don't. I've got sympathy in some aspects, but in some other aspects, I don't. Because we've not improved since Newcastle. Everything has fell apart. 2026 so far has been nothing more than a complete and utter shit show from this football club. It is a massive, massive L. And nothing looks like it's going to change. Even if they sack Amorim, the season will cave in and these players will do exactly what they did to Ragnick. They could do whatever they fucking wanted to do. Nothing changed if Amorim isn't sacked. He was given 250 million after finishing 15th and losing Europa League final. But the problem is over 200 is not enough. 200 million is not enough. We need to be spending at least 600 to 700 million in the transfer window. That is what we should be doing. That's what we should be doing. We should be spending 600 to 700 million. If Chelsea can do it, then that's what we should be doing. It's going to take at least £500 million to get this club back to where it needs to be. I'm saying £500 million because that's realistic. I want to be Amorim in. Don't get me wrong. I want to be Amorim in. I really do. But the more this carries on, and if there's a complete relationship breakdown between him and the board and the owners, then I would go. because he wants signings in January. The club can't just keep saying no all the time. It should be, yes, Amorim, we'll get you that player. Yes, we'll get him sold. Yes, we'll bring in a replacement. That's the problem. They don't want to back this manager because he's using a formation they don't like and a setup and the way we play, and apparently now dictating to him. I mean, who the fuck do they think they are? I mean, Omar Barada's not like he's a club legend of the board. Omar Barada ain't done fuck all since he's arrived. What's Jason Wilcox done since he's arrived? They've done fuck all. They've done nothing in terms of make this football club even more of a laughing stock. But based on the comments Amorim's made tonight, if he does resign, then the season caves in. Everybody will do what they want. That's the problem. There's no decent replacement out there right here, right now, that I would go and get. The only manager I would consider looking at is trying to buy Nagelsmann out of his Germany contract with a German international team. That is the only thing I would do, is try and get Nagelsmann out of his Germany contract. That's the only thing I would do to bring in a decent replacement for Amorim. That's the only thing I would do. But Ollie says changing a manager won't change a thing. Exactly. Because the Glazers are still here. Ineos are still here. They won't do anything until things change. And I don't see things changing. I really don't see anything changing anytime soon. I don't see a change. I think United are gradually only going to get worse. And the Glazers have ruined us. The Glazers have destroyed this football club from inside and out. Since Fergie fucked off, they took back control because they were shit scared of Sir Alex Ferguson. They were shit scared of him. At least he was getting backed and getting the players he wants. The only season he didn't get is when we were going to bring Ronaldo and Bale from Real Madrid before the 2012-13 season started. That's the only thing. That's the thing I don't get. It's an absolute fucking shit show. The Glazers are running this club into the ground. £800 million worth of debt. A stadium that's falling to pieces. Fans that don't get games called off or storm the stadium and abandon our games. We have to do something because this can't carry on. Because the problem is it will repeat the cycle if we sack this manager or he resigns. We can't keep repeating the cycle. It gets really, really boring. The Glazers have ruined us. Josh Locker said Amorim is the right man. It's been badish over 20 years. Shocking game today since James Fitzpatrick. Changing manager won't change a thing. Ineos still there. Glazers still there. United would still lose. It's always been a manager problem. The Glazers are the only ones that the ones who choose the team and plays terrible. You wouldn't put a centre back and a striker, so why make a manager play a different system? Glazers should have chosen Guitars over Ineos. Exactly. Please smash that like button. Please give me a follow on TikTok. Would really appreciate it. I just don't know where to go. But I think the next 48 hours is going to be crucial. I think the next 48 hours is going to be crucial towards the future of this manager. If he does go, the season will fall apart. The crisis will begin. That's what will happen. If he does go, the season caves in. And, I don't know where we turn from now. I really don't. Sack Amorim. He's bad. I understand we can't keep changing manager, but he's terrible. Glazers did a massive mistake. Exactly. The mistakes this football club have made are shocking. The mistakes we've made are shocking. I want Amorim to succeed, but I am so Amorim out more than Amorim in. And thank you for all the likes, by the way. Very much appreciated. I'm more Amorim out than Amorim in because I don't like the way we're playing and the way he sets us up. But as soon as you've got the board interfering, and you've got Sir Jim interfering, and you've got the Glazers interfering, what are you meant to do as a coach? What are you meant to do? You know you ain't going to win this battle. You are going to be talked down to, and you're going to have to be told to do as you're told. That's the problem. He's not. He needs time in his own place to Glazers out till United is sold. Exactly. I want the Glazers gone. I want Ineos gone. I wanted a full sale. I never wanted Ineos anywhere near this football club. I said this was going to be a disaster waiting to happen. And that is exactly what's happening. It's a disaster waiting to happen. They should have never allowed Ineos to put in a minority stake. I don't understand why the UK government can't intervene and say the Glazers have to sell the club because what they're doing to us is ridiculous. And it is. It saddens me to see the club in the mess it's in that I love. I'm sick of our results. I'm sick of our performances. I'm sick of half these players getting away with bottle job performances every fucking week. The investigation into Manchester United is like air crash investigation. When a plane crashes, they've got to try and investigate why that plane has fallen out of the sky or why it's crashed. Like it's so sad. Not mention draw to the worst Prem side. Exactly. So if Sporting did it, we should do it. He isn't flexible enough. Still playing Bruno in the centre midfield when fit. He's not good enough. Again, I do blame Ruben Amorim on Bruno Fernandes. I blame the Bruno Fernandes injury on Amorim. That is a very, very good point that I think has to be made. The Bruno Fernandes injury is down to Ruben Amorim. There are too many number 10s in that position to play in the same team. And you can't compare the sport Portuguese league to the Premier League. You can't compare it. Because the Portuguese league and the Premier League are two completely different leagues. And this is why a lot of players like Rasmus have gone, Onana, Scott McTominay. Like, there's so many players in that team that we've let go of, all of a sudden have gone to a different league. And they're a completely different player to what they were when they were here. But looking at it on a perspective now, I don't know where to go. Bruno will go at the end of the season. Please smash that like button. Please give me a follow on TikTok if you're watching. But we're on about Manchester United here now. So, exactly, we're on about the future of Ruben Amorim. Because we should have sold Bruno for the 200 million, says Josh Locke. Exactly. I would have taken that Bruno money right here, right now, if I could have. I would have taken that money. I would have taken that Bruno Fernandes money in a fucking heartbeat. Why didn't we do it? I will never ever know. But that money would have fixed the midfield issue. That money would have fixed that midfield issue like that. But Amorim has been hinting at problems since Christmas, even before Christmas. Like, if he's been hinting, there's been problems since then. Well, why is it only coming out now? Why is it only coming out now? Ineos have destroyed this football club. But we are doing better than last year. How we're in the top 6, I don't even know. How we're in the top 6 performing the way we are and producing the football we're producing, I have got no clue. It's because the rest of the league, apart from City, Arsenal and Villa, the rest of this league is dog shit. There's teams in this league that shouldn't even be in the Prem anymore. Like, they can't compete with these top 3. So how is it Wilcox also Jim's fault? Because they were brought in to keep the Glazers in charge with a minority stake at this football club. They were brought in to keep the Glazers in charge. It's embarrassing. It really is embarrassing. Dorgu. Yeah, I don't think that Dorgu thing's true. We're in the top 6 because everyone is bottling it. That's very true, says Ash. That's a good point. Your 3-4-3 system can work. An example is Crystal Palace was a mid-table team until Glasner came in. We can only compete for the Europa League, not the UEFA Champions League. We are in the top 6 because Mbuemo and Kuna. Check Sky Sports Dorgu apparently punched Amorim, apparently. And people were saying bring in Moyes years ago. Like, yeah, fuck that. Honestly, like, fuck that. We've had too many managers that have got it wrong. We've had managers that have never been backed properly. Van Gaal said it. Mourinho said it. Obviously, Amorim is now hinting at it massively. Why would Amorim resign? We're literally 6th in the league with a lot of vital players out. We can't keep using injuries and AFCON as an excuse. We should still have players at this football club that can still get us result, no matter who you've got unavailable. Ruben Amorim is resigning tomorrow. I am hearing from staff I know who work at Old Trafford. If that's true, then you have to be given a massive shout if that's true. I would just walk out if I was Ruben. We're 6th in the league because the rest of the half are a bunch of shit bunch, exactly. Did you not see them last season? They struggling with the Conference League. What's age got to do with it? Exactly. No matter what, if you look at the problems we've had this season, obviously the injuries aren't helping us, but I'm not using the excuses. I'm not using injuries as an excuse. I'm not using AFCON as an excuse. The players that we had left should still be able to do a job. But we know how shit some of these players are. Dorgu ain't good enough. Luke Shaw has had his day. Delo isn't good enough. Agate's a liability. Casemiro is too old. Sesko's a learner driver. Dorgu's a learner driver. Lamens can't really do anything when he's got a shit defence and a walking invisible midfield right in front of him. We've got a non-existent attack. You're playing Dorgu out of position. There's so many players that were playing out of position exactly what Erik ten Hag did. Erik ten Hag was playing players out of position. It is embarrassing. If the owners are not helping Ruben, then what can he do? I say Ruben deserves better. Do you think he resign? I think he will go. We're relying on injuries because we can't hold our hands up and admit we're wrong. Winning will accept being sixth. It's not now to do with the magic, it is to do with the players on the pitch. The owners are a big problem, plus Amorim's tactics are not working. They're lacking motivation completely. Dorgu has been okay. Dorgu has not been okay. One good goal against Newcastle and Dorgu's gone back to the dog shit that he was games before Newcastle. One good goal against Newcastle and everyone was hyping him up, saying, goal of the season contender, this, that and the other. He had one good moment of glory and he's gone back to being shit again. He's gone back to being shit. Look, I'm sorry. He's been terrible. Dorgu has been a terrible signing. He wanted Nuno Mendes. Why did Man United just pay PSG the 60 to 70 million that he wanted? They wanted. Why didn't... We are not missing Harry Maguire. I completely disagree. Harry Maguire is another player. 6 months left on his contract. You get rid. You get rid of him. Amorim's a huge problem for United. You need to sack him ASAP, says Zach. I think Amorim will resign anyway. I think Amorim will resign before he gets sacked. Because this is all to do with January. He's pissed off that we're not bringing Semenyo in. And he can quite clearly tell that the midfield he's got is fucking pants. And the midfield he needs, he hasn't got. So I don't understand why we're not buying a midfielder. If Man United still want Belieber, can't we just go and chuck the 100 million Brighton want? Like, what's wrong with Eve going getting Belieber right now? Maguire is a casualty, completely agree. That's Amorim's fault. Even Brighton have better players than us. If Amorim resigns, we're completely lost. Brighton would take a stupid offer, apparently, from Brighton to sell Belieber. It would take stupid money for Brighton to sell Belieber. We all know that. Romano has said it time and time again in the last couple of days. It would take stupid offer for Belieber to join United right now. But Man United want Belieber. Belieber wants United. There's a deal to be done there. There's a deal to be done with Brighton. There is a deal there that United could do with Brighton. We will give you 100 million, 50 now and 50 in the summer. That deal could be done like that. It's not difficult to bring players in from clubs that want them. I wouldn't want Belieber anyway. Elliot Ansell, Adam Wharton would be class. The whole midfield needs worked on, and that's what Amorim's clearly pointing at. He needs a brand new midfield. He clearly thinks Agate's a load of shit, which he is. Casemiro should be in a retirement home. Fernandes is injured because of Amorim's tactics to play him in a deep-lying midfield role. Let's be honest. Mainu doesn't get any game time because apparently he doesn't think Mainu's fucking good enough for some strange reason. And Mason Mount has got the best number on his fucking back of his shirt and he's injury prone as well. And exactly, get rid of Agate, get rid of Casemiro, get rid of Mount, get rid of Fernandes, you keep Mainu, you bring in Belieber, Wharton and Anderson, you keep Mainu and maybe go and get Conor Gallagher on the cheap. That's a brand new midfield right there, right in front of your own eyes. Belieber, Anderson, Wharton, Gallagher, Mainu. That could be the brand new midfield five for Manchester United. That could be a brand new midfield setup. And yes, we're missing Fernandes. Granted, we are missing Fernandes. We're missing Mainu. We're missing Mount. We're missing De Ligt. I don't think we're missing Maguire because Maguire is shit anyway. We are missing a clinical striker up front because we spent 80 million on fucking Sesko, which is nothing more than a joke, to be honest with you. I don't understand I don't understand why. I don't understand why we went for Sesko now, because, to be honest with you, I wanted an elite striker. That is what I wanted. And Manchester United didn't get that elite striker. He wanted Ollie Watkins. Yoro is so pants as Zach. Embuemo and Ahmad. Nowadays, Casemiro is worth a Stella, Artois and prawn scratches. It's just an absolute shit show. And I'm doing this debate because if Amorim was to resign, then Man United are in trouble. I think United realistically need 8 to 9 signings in the next 2 transfer windows, in my opinion. I don't think 3 to 4 signings is enough. I think we need to get 2 midfielders now and a striker, and I think we then need to get another 5 to 6 signings in the summer. I think Yoro starts over Maguire, and is that exactly? He doesn't, does he? Yoro can't even start over Maguire. Yoro can't even start over Martinez. I'm not using the international break as an excuse. I'm not using that as an excuse. We should have still had players available to go. We're overreacting due to missing 8 players. I'm not using these 8 players as an excuse. The players we had left should have still been able to do a job. And they can't fucking do it. They can't do it. We can't do it. That's the problem. We can't fucking do it. Yoro is the reason why Leeds didn't make it 3-1 before our first 45 ended. Playing worse players over technically gifted players. I think a centre mid, a right back and a striker makes us competitive. We need at least 8 to 9 signings in the summer. We need a proper clear out. You get rid of Shaw, you get rid of Dorgu, you get rid of Tom Heaton, you get rid of Biinda, you get rid of Agate, you get rid of Fernandez, you get rid of Mount, you get rid of Xerxes, Rasmus, Rashford, Sancho. Honestly, I think that's what we need. We need a complete clear out. That's the only way that a proper rebuild is going to happen, because that is what was going to happen. We need a fucking proper rebuild at this football club. We need a proper rebuild where we're getting rid of 8 to 9 and then bringing 8 to 9 in. That's what you call a proper rebuild. We can't be doing it over 2 or 3 windows. We need to be doing it in one full summer where we can go. We are ready. Not do it over 2 or 3 windows. If Leeds attack down the right or the middle hand side easily, Leeds will won 4-1 easily. Xerxes has been classed. Xerxes has not been classed. He got dragged off against Wolves because he was shit and provided a wonder assist for a goal. Whoopee. I can't wait for that the highlight reel for that Xerxes. Half these people who listen aren't even with the squad anyway. I think Rashford would revive after Amorim goes. Rashford ain't coming back. I've already said that. It's not possible to sell all of those players. It is possible. It is possible. I completely disagree. It is possible. But United, you've got too many people who work for that football club who are sat on their fucking ass doing fuck all, probably sat there eating Doritos or playing Football Manager. I'm sorry. Man United have got employees who sit on their ass all day and do completely fuck all for the rest of it. It's lazy, it's incompetent, and it ain't good enough. As a so-called top football club, that ain't good enough. That ain't good enough. That's lazy. We can't keep using injuries as an excuse. We can't keep using AFCON as an excuse. I am being realistic. I'm telling the truth. Our manager's about to resign, potentially in the next 48 hours, because he isn't getting backed in January. They were going to get him Semenyo, and they're not getting him. And now they're not going to go and get anyone else because they can't be fucked. I'm sorry, that isn't good enough. Man United should have been lining up alternatives to Semenyo and bringing in 2 midfielders. We haven't got a midfield. It's getting walked through every single game, and teams are pouncing on us like a cat chasing a pigeon. Like, our midfield is getting walked through every fucking week, and it is boring the fuck out of me that midfield never gets resolved. As for the attack, we don't have one. We've got Sesko up front. Whoopee. That looked like that worked, didn't it? Like, going for Sesko was a joke. Just because of his age. We've basically got another Rasmus Højlund 2.0 up front. And even Rasmus was shit. And now we've got Sesko. If you want cheap midfielders, go for João Gomez and Ederson from Atalanta. Semenyo won't change United. Semenyo's going to City. Sesko is way better than Højlund. Relax, his goals will come, trust me. But the problem is, he's a learner driver. He's only 21 or 22 years old. He's only 21 to 22 years old. We're in 2026 and he's only got 2 goals. Exactly. He's had 2 goals all season since he arrived. I'm sorry. That ain't good enough. But he ain't good enough. He's a learner driver. We might as well have L plates on the back of all these players' shirts. Because a lot of them are learner drivers. A lot of them are trying to learn to get to the Manchester United way. But that ain't... It is because of the system. It is because of the system. That is on Amorim. Massively agree with you. That is on Amorim. But at the end of the day, Amorim didn't want Sesko. He wanted Ollie Watkins. I've been saying that not just once but twice. He wanted Ollie Watkins and the club went and got him Sesko. And I'll hold my hands up. I didn't want Watkins because of his age. But the experience now would have been better than having Sesko up front. Because Ollie Watkins is banging in goals for bloody Villa week in, week out. He's banging goals in for Villa week in, week out. And we're sat here wondering why we can't score goals. Then why did he green up the Sesko transfer? I don't think Amorim, I personally do not think Amorim gave the green light. We ain't the fucking Pitbull song. Like, we're not the bloody Luke Littler walkout song. I don't think he green-lighted that transfer. I don't think he did. I think the club and the board did that. And that's on them. I don't think he liked Sesko. I think he was only saving that to please face, in my opinion. He could have got Ekatike and chose Sesko. Exactly. Exactly. IRL Brady has just said. But that's the same story of all our manager signings. Ollie, Erik ten Hag and Amorim wanted someone else. Exactly. To be honest with me, Sesko is not a big problem. It's all on Amorim, in my opinion. Amorim's system and his formation isn't helping, granted. But when you've got the board and Ineos and the Glazers now putting their 2 pence piece in, dictating him to like puppet on strings, you will play the way we want you to play. This is the formation we want you to use. This is how we want you to set up. No. You ain't the coach. I'm coaching these players. I mean, what gives Omar Barada, Sir Jim Ratcliffe, Jason Wilcox and the Glazers the right to interfere on the manager system? What gives them the right? What gives them the right to do that? Because I remember the meltdown when Sir Jim was willing to spend 100 million on Ekatike, so what now? Exactly. For me, Ineos should have had a lot of the blame with Amorim too. Exactly. Regardless who's on the pitch, for me, it's not the players, it's Ineos and Amorim. The fact we're up the table at the moment is brilliant. Ekatike wanted Champions League football. It wouldn't have mattered. I don't believe that. I don't think Ekatike would have mattered if he had Champions League football or not. Manchester United really should have got a fucking move on if they wanted Ekatike, especially when we were the first club to enter the phase for that transfer, and we didn't do it. So, I'm just saying now, Amorim is out of his depth, but at the end of the day, if he was to resign, it's probably game over for the season. We're probably not going to have European football next season either, because if we got the FA Cup next Sunday evening at Old Trafford and we lose to Brighton, that's European football gone, and we're probably not going to beat Burnley on Wednesday, and a lot of fans will probably celebrate a point and a draw again, which is fucking ludicrous. Why some fans celebrate a draw or celebrate a point is absolutely embarrassing. But that's the level some of you so-called fans are falling for. you're falling to the standards that this fucking football club is showing. It's fucking embarrassing. It makes me want to throw up. It really is. It's really embarrassing. I think Amorim will be gone. I think no two ways about it. Amorim's going to be gone in the summer, or even gone by the end of the week. I don't think we'll beat Burnley. Not with those players. I'm sorry. We're not going to beat Burnley with these players on Wednesday. Not a bloody chance. If we can't beat Leeds away and Wolves at home, Everton at home, Bournemouth at home, West Ham at home, like, that says a lot about where we are. That says a lot about the manager. It says a lot about this so-called coach. But I feel sorry for Amorim that he ain't going to get any signings. And if we don't do anything, then we're fucked. We can't just sit for the whole of January and don't do anything. Because Liverpool are going to be spending money. So will Man City. So will Chelsea. So will Tottenham. So will Arsenal. Every other Premier League club will spend money around us. I mean, Brentford are only 2 points off 5th place Man United, by the way. Brentford are only 2 points off Manchester United. That says a lot about the way we are as a football club. We're a fucking embarrassment. We are an embarrassment at the moment. We are getting battered by teams like Leeds and Wolves. It's embarrassing. It's massively embarrassing. I don't know what's going to happen, but after what I've seen today, if he's walking out his press conference and he's basically saying that Jason Wilcox has put in his 2 pence piece in, then I'm sorry to say, I think Amorim should resign. He should do an interview with Sir Piers Morgan and he calls out the Glazers, he calls out Ineos, and he calls out how bad they are at how they run this football club, because they're not backing the manager in January. They're not going to go and get him anyone, and I don't think that's fair. He deserves to be given more time and more money to spend to try and get this team moving. But we can't do it because we've got too many players that are shit. We've got too many players that they apparently need to get rid of because they're shit. And I don't think we should have to sell to buy. I don't think we should have to sell to buy, in my opinion. I don't think we should have to do that. I don't think that's fair. Man United have already come out and said, we have money to spend. They had 65 million to spend on Semenyo. And now all of a sudden, we're now not going to go and spend any money. How contradicting is that? Like, how contradicting is that? It's fucking ridiculous. It's based on what I'm seeing. I'm basing on what I've seen tonight, based on the news we're getting. He's not happy. He feels like he's been thrown under the bus, and he feels like he's being lied to because, he's not getting backed in January. That's what this is all about. He's not getting backed in January. Exactly. Villa had to do it, and Villa had money. Exactly. I think Amorim, in my opinion, deserves more time. But if he was to resign, because based on what's happening in January, I would quit. But I think, he should be backed. I think he should be backed, in my opinion. I think he should be backed, but I'm not gonna hold judgment until we get an update on what's gonna happen. Wants to spend big on the centre midfield, yet got one of the best English youngsters already there. Exactly. And that's Kobe Mainoo, who doesn't get any fucking game time, which is absolutely ludicrous, to be honest with you. It is absolutely ludicrous but Mainoo is injured. Exactly. There's going to be a match if and when he leaves. Exactly. But Mainoo is injured. People don't understand. Mainoo's fucking injured. What do people not understand about Mainoo? He's injured. He's injured. Mainoo's injured. So he can't play, can he? If Mainoo's injured, he can't play. So we wouldn't be able to select him anyway. And so people are saying, we've got a midfielder already there. But I'm saying we can't use him. Exactly. The last couple of weeks he didn't even want to use Mainoo anyway. But Mainu, in my opinion, should be starting games for this club over Agate and Casemiro. But I'm saying we can't use Mainu at the moment because he's fucking injured. It's not rocket science. Agate, Bruno and Dalot all came from... Dalot actually came from Porto. Agate came from Sporting, and so did... Agate and Bruno both came from Sporting. So the problem is that's why they start every week. You're probably right. That's probably why Dalot and Agate do start every fucking week. Opinions on the match, we were shit. Simple as that. We should have beat Leeds and we bottled it again, just like we did against Wolves. Couldn't even beat Wolves at home. It's fucking shit. If PSG sold Agate, I wonder why. That's a very good point. I wonder why PSG sold Agate now. It's a very, very good point. I think PSG saw United coming, basically. As soon as we had our interest in Agate put in, then, yeah. No chance he resigns. He will be wanting his money and he doesn't deserve a penny. I've got a question. Amorim in. My opinion on Lamens is carrying us and it's disappointing. I think Lamens is keeping us in a game. Don't get me wrong. I think Lamens is trying desperately to keep the scoreline down. And he's trying to make as many saves as possible to keep United in the game. Because if you concede goals, we will lose. It's simple as that. I think a lot of those players realise a lot of the players they're playing with are shit. But there's too much of a nicey approach to a lot of those players and they won't call each other out. If someone's playing poorly, then they won't call each other out. Agate has the same agent as Lenny Yoro. Do the math. Exactly. That is very, very true. That is very, very true. So, again, I think there's just too many problems. Considering we are missing 8 squad players, majority are starting, we aren't doing that bad. What was there a dirty side to Sir Alex Ferguson teams at Manchester United? Well, again, Sir Alex Ferguson, it took, I can't, like, in terms of years, how long it took, I can't remember, but I think it took like 4 or 5 years till we started being a consistent good team under him, and then we started flying. But the problem is, the Glazers took back control soon as Fergie fucked off. And that's the truth. Soon as Fergie fucked off, the Glazers took back control. It just over 3 years to win his first silverware. Exactly. We're not going to do we won't do anything under Amorim if this keeps carrying on. I just don't have any hope now for the rest of the season. I would rather just the season end and it just finish, to be honest with you. I just want the season to end. And the only reason I can think of ending the season is I don't think we're going to get Europe, to be honest with you. Thank you for the follow, by the way. I think we'll go out the FA Cup against Brighton. I can't see us winning that. And thank you for the follow, Dan. Very much appreciated, buddy. And I don't think we're going to beat Burnley on Wednesday either. I just don't think we've got any chance of getting results in the next couple of games. And then we've got City at home and then Arsenal away, which we're going to get battered at the Emirates, and we'll get battered at Old Trafford as well, which I'm dreading. Amorim is tactically adept. He's not got one bit of common sense in him. Honestly, it's just embarrassing at the moment. Like, it's massively embarrassing. And I think, again, I'm doing this reaction in this debate because based on the comments we're hearing, and he walked at his press conference, this is why I'm doing this reaction. Because it's like, I'm kind of expecting Amorim to go this week. Because I think you can tell by Amorim he ain't happy. You can tell by his body language. You can tell by his facial expressions that everything is not well inside that football club. And I think Amorim feels betrayed. I think Amorim does feel betrayed because if they would have got him Semenyo, I think he would have been very happy. But now they've basically turned around and said, we're now not going to get you anyone. I sympathise with him on that aspect. And if he does resign, I will respect him. But if him resigns makes us play better, then there's two sides to every story, really. It could be a benefit if he does go and we get better. But if he resigns, the season caves in and it goes back to the Ralph Ragnick days. So I don't know what's going to happen. I'm just basing this, debate on what we're seeing and what we're hearing. Like, you know, it's not looking good, bruv, is it? Like, it's not looking good. It's looking very, very bleak for Ruben Amorim. And I think, you know, it's only going to get worse before it gets better. And again, what would you guys do if he was to resign? Like, what would you guys react to? Like, if he was to go, who would you guys replace him with? What manager would you bring in if he was to go? I'm rapidly falling out of love with football. I'm feeling exactly the same way, James, to be honest with you. I'm feeling exactly the same way. I am starting to slowly but surely fall out of love with football. Tango says Rude. Carl says Xavi. If Aaron got sacked, I'd bring in Rude. Ruben is too smoky, says Lord North. It's just, I don't know what I would do either. Like, if Ruben was to get sacked, someone has said Glasner from Palace. I mean, he's not renewing his contract, is he? At Palace at the end of the season. Josh says Eddie Howe. I don't think no matter what coach or manager you would bring in, I don't know. I don't know what I would do. I think I would try and get Nagelsmann out of his Germany contract if I could, or maybe Oliver Glasner. I think one of those two options I would probably take. At the end of the day, literally got us our first win in Europe, says James. That's very, very true. I just don't think, no matter what manager you bring in, what coach, you've still got the Glazers, you've still got Ineos, who will use the next manager again as another puppet. And that manager will not be allowed to make decisions based on the squad and the players that are there. And will he be allowed to get rid of who he wants and be allowed to bring in who he wants as well and get rid of who he like also? That's the problem I've got with all this. This is the problem I've got. If you sack Amorim or Amorim resigns, I think the club will just fall apart and then the season might collapse. But then if Ruben goes, we might start playing good football. You never know what can happen. You never know what can happen, really. We might start playing well. His league record, 47 games, 15 wins, 19 losses, 13 draws. Yeah, his league record is shocking, isn't it? It's very, very bad. We've lost more games than what we've won, and we've won more games than what we've drawn. Someone has said Maresca. See, I've heard Maresca a lot since his Chelsea departure. I know the United board do like Maresca. So don't be surprised if that was to happen, I suppose. But again, if you brought Maresca in, what would that do? Would the United players be happy with that appointment? Just wish he got the time Ruben got. I just don't know what's going to happen. Maresca would fall out of the owners very quickly, says Josh. Exactly, because look at the fallout from Chelsea. And did Man City beat Chelsea, by the way? Did Man City get a result against Chelsea? Did they beat them? Or did they get... Oh, they got a draw. Okay, City got a draw. Bloody hell. Yeah, so Man United have basically fallen back down to 6th, so we haven't moved anywhere. Newcastle are 2 points off Manchester United. At Brighton, Everton, Fulham are all 3 points off Manchester United. Brentford, Sunderland are 1 point off Manchester United. Brentford and Sunderland are 4 points off the top 4. So it's not looking it's not looking good, is it? It's not looking good. United love breaking records, but we break all the wrong ones. Exactly. What about ex-Man United strikers being a new... No, thank you. I'm sick and tired of United at the moment. Sack him, says Manchester United. Would Klopp be the next... Klopp would come at... We need Cameroon to lose. We need Ivory Coast to lose and Morocco as well. You know it's bad if Brentford or Newcastle are challenging with us. It's a disaster class. What question is it you're asking? Maresca has no tactics whatsoever. That's very true. Sunderland manager and Brentford manager were side staff. Exactly. Exactly. When you've got Brentford and Newcastle in there and Everton and Brighton and Fulham, it is fucking embarrassing. It's only going to get worse, isn't it? If we don't beat Burnley on Wednesday and all those teams below us win, Brentford go above us, Newcastle go above us, Everton, Fulham and Brighton all go above us as well. Oh my God. Do you think he's gone, says Corey? Yeah, I think Amorim's gone. I think by tomorrow, I'll be massively surprised if Amorim's not gone. If he is still in charge, then I'll be surprised based on the comments he's made. There's a clear falling out with him and Jason Wilcox. He's annoyed he ain't getting back in January. He's pissed off Semenyo's not been brought in because he expected that deal to happen. United apparently didn't want to break their wage structure, even though they go Sesko, Lemens, Mbeumo and Kuna all pay rises to play for the club. And thank you for the follow, Manchester United. Very much appreciated, buddy. So, saying we didn't want to contradict our... Lord Norfolk says, Will still... Is that the ex-Southampton manager? Thank you for the follow, AP7. I just don't know what... I just don't know where we go from here if Amorim was to go. I don't know what would happen. I think the season would just cave in, personally. I think the season would just cave in. Kieran McKenna from Ipswich. I'm not sure about... Again, Kieran McKenna would be a puppet on strings. They would have him on a shoestring budget if they brought Kieran McKenna in. I didn't think we were going to get top four, and there was no way we were going to go for the league title. We won't beat Burnley based on... Jamie says, Ange. Good on Ange. Ange Postecoglou, mate. Good on Ange. We're not... I never thought we were going for the title. I said we would be lucky if we got top 6. If we get top 6, it's nothing more than a miracle. Ray says Enzo Maresca. If we get top 6, it's nothing more than a bloody Christmas miracle. And I would say we've got away with a season very, very lightly. But if we were in Europe right here, right now, we would get smoked heavily. Lord North then says Southgate. If they went for Gareth Southgate, I would end my relationship with Manchester United here and now. If they went for Southgate, I would be done with the club. I wouldn't be supporting them anymore. If they went for Southgate, that would be me completely done. If they went for Southgate. I'm sorry. Southgate played boring, tactical, part-the-bus football with England and tried to break every nation we played against on the counter-attack. No thank you. No thank you to that. I don't want Gareth Southgate anywhere near a supermarket. I've heard Jim Ratcliffe likes Southgate. Yeah, we've heard that a lot. That probably is going to happen now, innit? But would probably fall out of the owners, exactly, says Henry. Sedan says Jamie. I don't know who United would go for. I would go and get Nagelsmann. That would be my only option I could think of. But could you get him out his Germany contract? If you paid stupid money to Germany, then you probably would. But you've got a World Cup this year, so I doubt that would happen. It would all depend on how well Germany do at the World Cup. If Germany have a stinker, then Nagelsmann won't get the United job. Exactly. Who would want to go there, says David. Exactly. I don't think realistically, sitting right here, right now, anybody would go near this United job. If United came calling for me, I'd be making certain demands in my contract. If United offered me the job, I'd be like, I want full control over the transfers on players in and players out. I want a budget of 500 to 600 million in the summer. I want at least 8 to 10 players gone, 8 to 10 players brought in. When we hit January, I want another 200 to 300 million again to add players to in again to get another 2 or 3. And then the summer after, I want another 500 to 600 million. And I want to get this club back to where it is, rebuild it. That would be my clauses in my contract. If United offered me the manager's job, I'd be dictating the contract terms. Exactly. Maguire, Malacia, Shaw, Biinda, Heat and Casemiro do us no good. I would want full control. I would want full control of transfers in the squad. Players in and players out. De Zerbi is a good shout from Jamie. Good shout. Yeah, the Marseille manager. It's a very, very good shout. I would want full control. I would want full control on players in and out. Unrealistic with the battle with Ratcliffe. Exactly, that is very, very true. I would want full control. I would want a load of players out and players in. If I wanted the job, that would be my terms. I want full control on the transfer budget. I want full control on the players I want. I don't want full control of the players I want you to get rid of. Bringing the ex-Real Madrid manager, Carlo Ancelotti, good luck at getting him out of Brazil. That will never, ever happen. But yeah, I think it's going to be another interesting 24 to 48 hours. It's going to be interesting where this leads up to. It's going to be very interesting. Will he stay or will he go? Will Amorim resign? Will United sack him? Or what's going to be tomorrow's breaking news? Because I tell you what, imagine if he does go. Imagine if he does go. United, that bad Pep couldn't even do the job exactly. If I was United stand, I'd be on the edge of a cliff by now. I think we've all just got to stick together. I think we've just got all stick together. I don't want that Edin Terzic from bloody Dortmund. PSA currently top of League with RC Lens. That's a good shout. PSA, just a good shout. Never heard of him, but I know Lens are top of League 1. It's going to be interesting now to see what happens tomorrow. It's going to be massively interesting to see what happens tomorrow. If he is still in charge, I'll be surprised. Because obviously there's been a massive turnaround in these last 24 hours, which are probably approaching. If he does go, the season caves in. It goes back to the Ralph Rangnick days. We bring in an interim to steady the ship till May. But we might start playing better if Ruben pisses off. You never know. This might do us the world of good if Ruben Amorim was to go. But if it could turn around and say, and you know, they could say, we'll give you money, right? We'll back you. We'll get players in that you would like, and they'll go and splash a load of money to sort this out, to paper the cracks. But those cracks will still be there no matter what players you bring in and what players you get rid of. I've just got a gut feeling we ain't going to do nothing. So I'm probably going to say I think he'll be gone in the morning. That's my opinion. That's my view. If I get it wrong, I do apologise. I'll hold my hands up. But it's worth a debate. It's worth a debate, to be honest with you, that based on what we've seen on Twitter, on X, and what we've seen on videos and socials, that, you know, it's not looking good for Amorim. And I don't think it's been looking good for a long, long time. If we would have beat Everton and Bournemouth and Wolves and West Ham and Leeds, well, there's him walking out of his press conference, and there's videos and quotes of him basically falling out with Jason Wilcox. Man U tied end manager careers. Why would he leave PSG? Exactly. We are in a mess. And it's a bad one. We are in an absolute fucking mess. And that mess is only going to get a lot worse before it gets any better. I don't know what these next 48 hours are going to hold. But if he does go, if he was to go, that I would be shocked. If he goes, I would be shocked. But I wouldn't be surprised if he was to walk. And if he does, I'll applaud him out of Old Trafford. I hope he does do an interview with Sir Piers Morgan and calls out Ineos, calls out the Glazers and say what a bad run football club we are. If we didn't sign the men's and kept Manala, would be 15th. Yeah, that's true, I suppose. That's very, very true. I am just checking this for Fabrizio, because people are saying Fabrizio. I don't know if this is true or not, but I'm just... Yeah, there's nothing on there. It's just about Liam Rosenior getting the bloody Chelsea job. Oh my god. Chelsea are going for Liam Rosenior. Oh my god. Jesus Christ, they're going in for his manager. Bloody hell. No one's reported. Give him time and he may build something. I just don't know what's going to happen in the next 24, 48 hours. I don't know what's going to happen. I think I'm still going to stand by my opinion. I think he will resign. I don't think there's any coming back from the comments he's made. If you've got a direct falling out of the director of football, that says a lot. And if you're basically saying you're not backing me as a manager to the owners and the board, they're not going to like that. That's bringing the football club into the limelight, which they fucking love because it's social media interaction. So I think to be honest, this is probably for the best that Ruben goes. He gets himself out of the situation and we move on respectively. But I don't think it will turn out like that. Nor did I. I didn't expect him to react the way he did. I'm surprised. Shit situation we're in, but something needs to change. SP shocking tactics. But if they have a broken promises, then they deserve it, right? Yeah, exactly. Who do they replace them with? I've got no clue. Please smash that like button. Please give me a follow. Would really appreciate it. Who's going to replace him, says Connor. I don't know. I generally don't know what... It's going to be tomorrow morning or tomorrow evening or tomorrow afternoon that the news will break that Amorim's gone. If he hasn't gone, then again, I will be shocked. I will be shocked if he is still in charge. Because I don't think there's any coming back from these comments. You don't make these comments and then stay in a job. But... again, the club and the board might listen. Did I just say that they might listen? Oh my God, that's getting clipped. There's no way they're going to listen, are they? No. I'd be shocked if he's still here by next weekend, says Carl. I think we're going to have to wait for tomorrow, what tomorrow brings. It's going to be... I think it's make or break. I think it's make or break, to be honest with you. I don't think they're going to listen. I don't think they're going to listen to Amorim. Amorim's United was optional. We could have got Nagelsmann ages ago. If Amorim leaves, who would you want to replace him? I've said Nagelsmann. I would go and get the Germany manager in a heartbeat. Worley says he goes at the end of the season. United might say, do you know, we're going to part ways and we'll get an interim. We'll bring Ruben Carrick in till the end. He has to deal with the players that Ten Hag left him with. Exactly, says Jonas. I hope I've pronounced that right. I do feel sorry for him, to be fair. Yeah, I feel sorry for Amorim. I feel sorry for Amorim in some aspects, but not completely. But again, I'm basing this debate on... you would go for the Bournemouth manager. I respect that. The Ten Hag left him with a washed-out squad. That's very true. Bringing Carrick and Ollie as interim. I just don't know what's going to happen. We're going to have to wait till tomorrow, but I just wanted to get my opinion and my view out there to see what people would say. I just wanted to, get my views and my opinions about how we look at it. If we had sold Maguire, we would have been much better than now. Exactly. What about the Crystal Palace manager? Probably the end of the season he goes. I just want this club to get back to where I want it to be. I think there's a lot of United fans who want to be back to where this club once was. But I think, to be honest with you, that is just going to take too much. Just give them the players he wants like they did with Ten Hag. Exactly. They need to back him in January, but I just don't see them doing it. Palace's manager plays the same position as United and they're almost bottom half of the table. He needs his own players. Exactly. Smash that like button. Please give me a follow on TikTok if you're watching. I just wanted to get my opinion and view out there. I just wanted to share my opinion and view on it and see what everybody else feels, because I think I had to react. I had to say something because it looks like he's going to go. I have a big problem. It's people suggesting new managers like the manager's the problem. Yeah, I respect that, Kian. I respect that, mate. That's a very valid thought and opinion and view. I respect that. If I'd have an outburst like that at work, I'd be sacked, lol. Exactly. Do you want him to go? I think I want him to go based on the way we're performing and the way we're playing, his tactics, his formation, the way he sets us up. But I have sympathy if he was to stay, because he's not getting back in January. He hasn't got Semenyo, and it looks like they're not going to get anyone else. So that's where I'm going to leave it. All I'm going to say is to everyone in live chat, get ready for the next 24 to 48 hours. Because I think, to be honest with you, I think we'll get a big break and story. Either he stays or he goes. And if United do sack him, or if he does resign, we'll go live and we will react to it. Because it's not looking good, bruv. And especially after tonight, the comments, his press conference, it says a lot. The relationship's completely broken between Amorim, board and owners. So don't be surprised if this happens now. Don't be surprised if Ruben Amorim's are gone by tomorrow, or at least before the end of the week. Give it Brighton and Burnley. This could be the end. This is the end. He's been in 90 minutes on his shit record, exactly. Thank you for the heart me as well. Like he did Sporting, just give him time, exactly. But this is where I'm going to leave it for tonight. We've been live today. Thank you to everybody that's contributed. Thank you for the gifts. welcome to all the new followers, and thank you for the likes as well, and for people that have watched this Ruben Amorim debate tonight. I really appreciate your guys' support. Please remember to smash that like button and give me a follow on TikTok. Yeah, it's going to be a big 24 to 48 hours ahead for this football club. Will he stay? Will he go? Will Man United make a managerial change? Will he just resign and get out of this situation before he gets pushed out? All I can say is let's wait now for tomorrow and see what tomorrow brings. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Have an amazing week. Hope you all have an amazing rest of the year in 2026 as well. Stay safe, everybody. You're all legends. You're all legendary. And I'll see you guys all on the next one.